On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about how you can create videos for your business even if you don't have any video to use. And of course, today's episode is made possible by our good friends over at Movo. And of course, the show here is powered by Movo, so we love their products. And if you want to be able to get some great microphones, lights, stands, tripods, and other things like that to help you make better videos, well, then head on over to raiselinks.com/Movo, where you can pick up all sorts of great things like the LV1 lavalier microphone, or maybe you need to get the GL1 stand for your smartphone to use it on a tripod. All of these things are available by our good friends at Movo. And again, that's at raiselinks.com/Movo. And with that, Steve, let's hit that music.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Landing page, govmm.com, where you can find all the podcatchers. Pick your favorite. We like Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review. Yeah.
We love 5-star reviews. We love to get any reviews, really. We want you to be interactive. Let us know what you think. Get in there. Give us those 5-star reviews. Comment to us on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you happen to listen to the podcast, because we want your feedback. It helps.
And yet another week where we're not live streaming to start the show. But
yes.
But Ray's
and by the way,
Ray's going to try. You're going to try updating your OS and your software.
Yeah, it could be. It's partially my laziness. I haven't gone through the process of updating everything to find out, because for whatever reason the new operating system and the call system was not working properly together when we tried it a few times. So I think there's been some updates since then. So we'll try it out again. It's going to work at some point in time. Yeah. Because it has to. Yeah. I'm a beta tester. I test everything under beta. So the live streaming software is beta, the operating system is beta, and you put those betas together, and sometimes things happen.
Things don't work. That's why it's beta, because they're trying to figure
That's right.
Work out the bugs.
That is true.
Okay. So,
and speaking of things not working right.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, today we're going to talk about what you can do to build videos even if you don't have any content to build them with.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about why I decided to do this topic today, Stephen. The main reason is we've promoted a lot of really cool software lately that takes videos and streams them live for you, or it takes those videos and it makes multiple copies for you, or you can take those videos and you can put them in the system and it's going to syndicate them out to all sorts of different places. But the one common issue with any of these things is if you don't have a video to use, all those tools are useless.
That's right.
What's the point of having a tool that helps you to rank YouTube videos if you don't have a video to upload?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, it's only logical. You got to have a video. And the problem is with most businesses, they don't have videos just sitting around.
Right.
There are some that do. We had a client that we worked with for a while that was a lawyer, and it was fantastic because he had 20 years of TV commercials that he'd been running for every week for years. So we had tons of different commercials that we could use, and we could do all sorts of fun things. Most businesses are not like that. In fact, Steve, you and I, we just worked on a project for a health company out in California. They didn't have any video to use.
Right. We
had to do stuff. We had to make video from thin air. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you can do that, because there are some ways to do that. Now, obviously, one thing you can do is you can go out and you can shoot video.
Yeah.
Go to our friends at Movo. Head on over to raiselinks.com/Movo. Get some equipment. Go out and shoot some videos. That's a lot of work. That can be expensive. That can require a lot of new equipment. That can require a lot of time. Now, granted, you can shoot it with your phone and everything, but even with that, we're talking spending, still couple $100 at least to get some of the things that you might need to shoot a really good video. And then, of course, you got to set it up and whatnot. And that's just not feasible for many businesses. You know, if you're a dental office, you don't have time to be spending the day going out shooting videos when you're trying to clean teeth to keep the lights on.
That's right.
You know, it doesn't make sense. If you're a plumber, you don't have time to be going out and shooting videos and editing videos. You got to get out there and you got to fix some drains.
That's right.
So the way that we overcome some of this is through using things that already exist. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, of course, we're going to go back and talk a little bit about stock media. If you haven't used stock media before, it is a treasure trove. And the funny thing is, I remember one time, Steve, I was sitting around and, you know, obviously I make videos for businesses all the time. And in the past, I did it even more. Nowadays, I do it mostly for my businesses. But back in the day, I used to do a lot of videos for a lot of businesses. And it was always like, oh, we got to go shoot more stuff. And we got to do this. And, you know, and it can be a pain in the neck. And it's so weird. But one day, it just kind of hit me. And I believe I was watching a Zyrtec commercial. If you're familiar with Zyrtec, they're like an allergy pill. And if you know their commercials, or it might have been Claritin, the Claritin Clear. I was one of those commercials, and the reason that it hit me with something was, if you ever watch those commercials, it's not people sneezing, it's not, you know, yeah, there's some product shots and things like that, but for the most part, it's families running through a field and people walking down the beach and, you know, people playing with their dogs and things like that. None of it is stuff that necessarily had to be shot. Now, I'm sure a company like that, they probably did go out and shoot their own footage for that, but I was looking at those commercials and thinking, holy cow, we could replicate these kinds of commercials right here without ever shooting one single frame of video, because you could go and you could get stock footage of people playing with their dogs, walking down the beach or running through a field. Not hard to do. And if you get it from the right places, you can get it really cheap. Now, if you go to iStock for all these things, you're going to be spending, you know, $1,000 to get the things you need. But if you belong to something like Envato Elements, you know, you're paying $200 for the whole year, and you can download as much as you want. You can download thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of video clips, and I have, and use them in these types of commercials. That's how we made the commercial for the medical facilities out in California.
That's right.
I went and I found doctors talking to people through computers, because it was a lot about telehealth.
That's right.
Doctors talking on the phone, patients talking on the phones, people being checked out by doctors, you know, all that kind of stuff. When we deal with a lot of dentists, we do stock footage. We grab that and we put that together. Why? Because it makes it easy to create video without having to go out and shoot all this stuff, without interrupting a dental office to be able to do that. Now, there are some caveats to that, of course. For instance, it's not going to have the actual dentist that you're going to see in the video. It's not going to have the actual doctor that you would see when you go into the office in the video. It's not going to have the same plumber in the video coming to your house. But, you know, that's really not necessarily an issue for most people. If it's a real personality-based business, I could see where it would be an issue. But when you're talking about a dentist, you know, they just want their teeth cleaned.
That's right.
And they're going to come in and they're going to get them done. And if you use stock footage of people cleaning teeth and doing all the different things and greeting people at the reception area, it's not going to matter if the actual dentist isn't in the video. But you can, of course, do a hybrid of this and maybe go out and get a couple of shots of the actual dentist if you wanted. Maybe, you know, posing at the end of the video, or even using a still shot if you had to. But for me, using the stock footage is a much easier way to get things done. And quite honestly, let's face it, even if we're pretty good at shooting videos with our phones, or even a video camera of some sort, we're probably not as good as the people that are shooting the stock footage.
Right.
So you can really build a video that's above your pay grade. And that's also what works really well with that. So what I recommend, and Steve, you know, this is, like I said, Envato Elements. If you go to Envato Elements, and you can go to raiselinks.com/elements, you're going to see all the stuff in there. By the way, that to me is the best value in all of media, is the Envato Elements program. $200, you get all that stock footage as much as you want. You can download a million different things if you want. You've got images, you've got music, you've got sound effects, you've got graphics, you've got templates, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You've got website templates, you've got graphics and graphic designs and all sorts of great things. You've got plugins for Photoshop and Premiere and Final Cut Pro that you can add so that you can do even more stuff as you're putting these things together. They've got transitions you can download to add into your videos. Really, really, really good little program. Again, raiselinks.com/elements. Check it out. You can even get a free item every single month. They'll have something on there that you can download for free. So be sure to check that out. Grab the free one, and then you can start to use that in some of your projects and see how it works. But what I love about that is if I've got to put together a dental video, I can go and find 4 or 5 shots of dentists working on teeth, 4 or 5 shots of patients having their teeth worked on, a couple of shots of people at the reception office, and boom, you've got a video ready to go. The only thing you need then is their logo, add a logo animation, and you got a beautiful video that's good enough to be on Hulu or TV or YouTube or wherever it is that you're going to put it. And it saves a ton of time and money. Now, you can also go to places like iStock, like I said, if you can't find what you want. You're going to spend more, but you're going to get good stuff. Now, there are some caveats to this. Not every business is going to have footage available for that particular industry. You know, you may, a vape shop or something like that, you may not find a lot of stuff that you could use for a vape shop, at least not stuff that's actually in that niche. Now, you could still get shots of a store, you could get shots of a clerk talking to somebody, you could get shots of people walking up the street or whatever it happens to be to create something with a nice voiceover that's going to explain what they're doing. But some of those can be a little more difficult to get footage for. But your doctors, your lawyers, your dentists, your car dealers, all of those guys are going to have footage that you can use to be able to build a nice video that you can put out for them. And again, it's probably going to be nicer than what you would do if you shot it yourself anyway. No offense to anybody.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I want to talk about with this, too, is there is one other issue that you have to be careful with on this is the different types of video. So you are going to be getting footage from different people who shot the videos with different cameras and different settings. So you kind of want to be able to match some of that stuff up. Now, if you're just doing a little YouTube video, it may not matter much. If you're doing something for a higher end business that's going to be on television as a TV commercial, you may want to be more careful with making sure that all the clips are color corrected so that they match up. So it doesn't look like it's just a bunch of random stock footage, because you might get a shot of a dentist in an office and the lighting in there was very blue-white. And then you might get somebody else who shot another dental shot and it was much more orangey white.
Right.
And you put those together, they're going to clash. So you want to be able to balance those things out. So you're going to want to put a little bit of effort into that. It's not super hard to do. Inside any video editing program, you're going to have these color correction tools that you can use to be able to balance that stuff out and make it look better. But you also have to be careful. Sometimes footage is 24 frames a second. Sometimes it's 30. That may or may not clash. Most people probably aren't going to notice. For me, I sit there and go, oh, no. But most people, it's not going to be a big deal. But it is something to think about with that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is video templates. Because the other thing that you can do is you can get some really, really nice video templates that are for businesses that maybe you're not going to use regular footage in, or maybe you're going to mix footage with graphics. So, for instance, I'm working with a company that makes a certain type of snacking chips. They're made out of pita bread.
Oh.
And for a commercial that we want to put together with them, it's going to be much more like animated and three-dimensional objects, like the bags are going to be floating around and they're going to pop open and the chips are going to fly out and all of that kind of fun stuff, which you can't do in the real world. It just, the real world just doesn't work that way. It's all done in 3D through templates. And you can get templates that do these types of things right on, again, Elements by Envato. So you can go in there, you can look up video templates, put in what you're looking for, and you'll get all sorts of stuff. They've got, everything from logo animations, if you're going to just put that onto a video, to video intros and outros and promo videos and, animated text stuff. All of these things are going to be in there, and you can find what you're looking for, put together a really beautiful commercial based off of that. Like I said, with the pita chip company, there was a beautiful potato chip template. That's all 3D, and again, it has the bags flying through the air, and then they pop open, and the chips come flying out. So we're going to try and use that because it's pita chips. We'll see how well it translates as we change things. Obviously, the bags, no big deal. We just put their label on the bags, and that'll look fine. But when it pops open and normally the potato chips or the tortilla chips come flying out, can we import pictures of the pita chips and replace it with that and still have it look decent? We're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
But again, we don't have to shoot one frame of video to do this. It's all going to be done inside the video editing systems by using stock media. And in this case here, the lady that owns this particular business, she doesn't have the time to go and shoot stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she literally doesn't have the time. So we kind of have to jump in and just kind of do these things on our own and then bring them to her afterwards. And that's what we're going to be doing with this, is putting it together that way. And it just makes life a whole lot easier to be able to do that. I never have to leave my office when I'm doing this kind of stuff because I've got everything that I need already there, either in the form of graphics and templates or video that's from the stock media companies. And all of that can be put together to make a beautiful video. So one specific niche, and I apologize to everybody that is working in all sorts of other things, but I wanted to mention this because it's a good one, is car dealers. If you're dealing with car dealers, they're going to be able to get all sorts of stock footage from their manufacturer. So if they're a Ford or a Chevrolet company dealer, they can get running footage from those companies that they'll give to you so that you can put together videos based off of that. I used to work for a company. That's what we did. We did all car commercials all the time, and we would get the running footage from Chrysler and from Ford and from Chevrolet and Toyota and whoever else, and we would keep that. Obviously, you can only keep it for a year because then the models are going to change, but we would keep that footage available, and whenever they needed a commercial, boom, we could just put it together. So if you're working with a company like that, ask them about some of the national stuff that they might be able to get. And this goes for other things besides just car dealers. Car dealers is much more common, it's much easier, but let's say you're working with a company that is a franchise. Maybe it's, a Subway. You may be able to get some sort of footage from the Subway Corporation that can be used for local commercials. Now, I don't know if that's the case with Subway or not, but point being is if you're working with something like that, you may be able to do that. And there's a lot of those types of things, Edward Jones or, some of the glass repair companies or whatever it happens to be. Many of those will be able to provide some sort of footage that you can use inside of your videos. And if you're working with a company that sells other products, many times those products they sell have footage that you can get. So for instance, if you're working with, let's say, a plumber and they use Pfizer products or they use, whatever it happens to be, Moen, they may be able to acquire footage of Moen faucets and Pfizer products and things like that you can use in those. And that's actually happened with us before, where we've gotten that footage from some of those businesses to be able to use inside of our projects.
Nice.
And so that's always a very useful option as well. So if you work with somebody that sells products that are name brands, talk to them about that. They may be able to get some of that name brand stuff and that name brand footage that they can put onto the videos that you're creating.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of different things that you can do. And, it just makes life a lot easier. Like I said, getting out and shooting can be tough, especially with COVID. You can now be able to go out there and make these commercials without having to do that. And if you know anything about like our Instant Spokesperson program, where we've built all these different commercials or videos for these different industries, and we've got doctors and lawyers and vape shops and everything in between, it's all done with stock footage. In fact, the story I told earlier about the whole allergy commercial stuff, that's where the idea for Instant Spokesperson came out. Was I was sitting there and I said, we could build things for people with stock footage. And then I thought, wait a minute, why can't we just make videos with stock footage that are already ready to go that businesses can use that don't want to have to spend the time shooting and editing videos? We can just have these things ready, and things fell together. It originally wasn't a spokesperson thing either. It was originally just going to be stock footage and maybe a voiceover, and some things happened where a buddy of mine, John, who happens to do all these different spokesperson videos, he came to me and was like, hey, I got a bunch of spokesperson videos. And I said, okay, great. And so we started to use that stuff, and he started to do those, and we started hiring other spokespeople. And then it just kind of turned into this whole industry of putting together these spokespeople with the B-roll footage, and boom, we've got videos that are ready to go.
Oh, I've used those a million times. It's quick and easy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, we do not have one for escape rooms yet.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we may never have one for some industries that doesn't work nearly as well for. And, just like if you were doing one for Disney World, you couldn't use stock footage that came from SeaWorld because it's an amusement park.
Right.
It just wouldn't work. And in escape rooms, things are very specific, so it's more difficult to make something generic. And I say the same thing with restaurants too. Restaurants are so specific in their style, their food, everything else, that it's difficult to do stock videos for restaurants because of that particular situation there. So oftentimes we don't do them for those businesses. But another thing that I wanted to talk about here too is don't be afraid to use sites like Fiverr. Now, I know when you think of Fiverr, you think of some of the bad things that are on there, and, oh my gosh, I ordered a logo on there and you couldn't believe what they sent me, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of good stuff on there. If you need voiceovers, you can get voiceovers done without having to record it.
Yep.
Anything. They're going to just send it to you.
That's what I do.
You can get spokespeople. Yep. Spokespeople will do things for you. You can get them on camera talking about a business. And not only that, but you can also get things like jingles. We actually had a jingle created on Fiverr, and I can't remember what we paid for it, Steve, but it was $20 maybe to have a whole jingle made.
Yeah.
And it was pretty darn good. I thought they did a really nice job. The Ray the Video Guy song that you hear at the beginning of this show was done on Fiverr. That one was done for $5. So there are things on there that you can get that can do really great things for your videos without having to spend a ton of money. There are people that probably will shoot video footage for you. If you need, you go on there and you look for stock video, you may need a specific shot. Somebody on there will probably do it for you. So don't be afraid to check out Fiverr and see if there's anything on there that can help you to do what you need for your videos without having to go out and shoot it for yourself. So all of those places can be a big help. But again, the biggest one for me, get an Envato Elements account. Go to raiselinks.com/elements. Check it out. Download what they have for free right now. But you're going to be able to get all the footage that you want. I here at the escape room have all sorts of videos running. And all the stuff in those videos is all stock footage that I got directly from my Elements account. And I did not have to pay for these other than my yearly fee. So when I downloaded the animated logos, templates, when I downloaded the stock footage, all of that stuff right from Elements. If I had had to go out and buy all that stuff, it would have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which I wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
I'd have made the stuff. But because, you can do that, I was able to go in and grab all that stuff. So it's a world of goodness out there. And, of course, Steve, if you do need to shoot some stuff, I think we know somebody that can help you out, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, a lot of things I can do, but I don't have that ability that you do. I mean, you're a true videographer, so anytime I've got to put together YouTube pre-roll ads, for instance, I just have Ray do them. And, yeah, Ray's doing stock stuff, but I don't know, it's got the graphics part of it that I really like. So I think that the big one on that is know what you can do, that you have the ability to, but know what you can't do as well. And so, I can really offer anything to my customers. If I can't do it, then, and when I say can't do it, I can't get it from stock footage or, whatever. I just have Ray do it. Now, here, I got something that's working out well for me, and it's a little bit of a different application. But what I do a lot for attorneys is get their GMB ranked and their website ranked, and I do things that their SEO agencies does, they haven't even thought of, or they just plain don't buy into it, and it's totally Google compliant. And what we do is we stack up Google entities with links to their GMB and their website, and Google loves that. But one of the things you got to do is create YouTube videos. And I ran across this, and I asked Ray about it, and he sort of liked it too. It's called the Synthesis AI Studio. And Todd Gross hung his name on it. He does the introductory video on the sales side. But what you're able to do is get these spokespeople. You plug in your spokesperson. You say, I want this spokesperson. I want this background. I want this voice. You plug in your copy, and it creates a spokesperson video for you. Now, do you want to do this for an ad? No. What I'm doing is creating YouTube videos as a way to stack up the entities. So I'll take the article that I've made as part of the stack, plug it in there, and I've got a spokesperson video, and then I take that copy also and put it in the description. And that it takes me a minute. It takes me a minute to create a video, and those things look good for what I'm using them for, and they're pretty good, so that's good. Have you ever used Creative Commons? I haven't, but I was just wondering.
I have to an extent, and if you don't know what that is, essentially, when you create a video. And we'll use YouTube as an example because that's the one that people know it from. But Creative Commons is not a YouTube thing. It's an actual legal thing. Mm-hmm. Creative Commons means that you are taking a video and you're putting it up somewhere, but you're giving it a license that anybody can grab that video and use it for something. So, for instance, if you go into YouTube and you search for dogs, and all the dog videos come up, but you choose Creative Commons, you're going to see all the dog videos where they're saying, go ahead, use this for whatever you want, because we're putting that license on there. So if it's a Creative Commons video, you have the option of using that video in something else. They're basically giving you the option or the license to be able to use that product or that video. And we've messed with that, a little bit with YouTube. The problem is when I've got Envato Elements, I'm going to get better stuff. There's certainly going to be some good stuff on YouTube, but most of it's not going to be Creative Commons. And, so then you're dealing with only the stuff that's Creative Commons, and it may not be appropriate for what you want because it's a finished video. You're probably not going to find just a picture, an image of a video of a dog running through a field. You're going to get a video of a dog running through a field with graphics already on it and things like that.
Right.
And so it's just not going to be as useful. So it's tough to find a lot of good stuff that way. But Creative Commons does have its good uses in a lot of software. It will pull Creative Commons videos in for things that you're doing with that software. Mm-hmm. And so then you can find the ones that you want and build things quickly. So a lot of tools that will build videos for you will actually pull Creative Commons stuff in for you, and you can choose which ones work and which ones don't. And in that case, it works out really well. But just not something that I've messed around with too much.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I looked at it, but I didn't bother taking out the license for it. I always kind of figured if I needed stock footage, I'd get Envato Elements or just have you do it for me. Now, here's something else that sort of kind of fits in with what we're talking about a little bit, but it's just a case study of something something I've been doing. On YouTube, I do a daily Bible study, and it's called Steve's Video Bible Study. And I do a chapter a day, and over time, there'll be a lot of stuff there. It takes time, but there'll be a lot of stuff there. And so I just kind of wanted to work with what I already had. I've already got lighting and a microphone and a camera set up to do the live stream, albeit a webcam, Logitech C920. So I have Vegas Pro going back to the Traffic Geyser days. It's like, why do you got Vegas Pro? Well, 12 years ago, that's what I got, and that's what I know how to use. And it's fine. It does a good job. So I tried using the screen cap on that, and I did that for a while, but I wasn't happy with the quality. A, it wasn't HD, and B, the quality was just not great. And I sort of found that with all the editing software I had. You know who has the best quality if you want to capture like a webcam and use it for YouTube videos? I mean, it's crystal clear, it's HD, it's beautiful. OBS Studio, the free shareware out there.
It does a good job.
Oh, does a great job. You know, I'm thinking, how am I going to do it? And finally it dawned on me, OBS Studio. And you just set it up to do recording, optimize it for recording as opposed to streaming. At least in my case, I don't do any streaming unless it's with you on Thursdays. So, yeah, just a case study there. I just wanted to pass that along.
No, that's a great tool for that. And remember, you know, the other thing is, anytime you need content, you know, not only can you find it online and everything, but don't be afraid to shoot. You know, we talked a lot about ways to not shoot things, but don't be afraid to go out and shoot things that you need either. You've got in your pocket a smartphone, and that smartphone is likely better than professional cameras were 20 years ago. So do not be afraid to use that to good effect. Here at the escape room, when we shoot stuff, I shoot it with my smartphone. In my case, it's an iPhone 11 Plus, which I'm waiting for the 13 to come so I can get that. But, you know, that's what I use. I mean, I've got really nice cameras here, but to take them out, to set them up, it's a pain in the neck. To grab my phone and shoot, miles better to be able to just do that. And the quality is great. Mm-hmm. And definitely good enough for what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, little off topic, but not off topic. The 13, do you know what that's going to add? That you know, like I think with the latest iPhone, didn't it add the 3 lenses, something like that? Do you know?
Yeah, it's the rumors. Obviously, you know, rumors abound. So everything we say, take with a grain of salt. But the 3 lenses are set to be larger. And there's been Apple puts out dummy phones so that case makers can make their cases. And so some of those have leaked and have shown that the 3 cameras are going to be much larger. They're changing the apertures on some of the cameras. And I haven't gone through it yet, but there was an article the other day about how there's supposed to be major changes to the video and photo recording on the new iPhone. So haven't seen what that is yet. Probably go over my head most of it, but it's coming. I know they're updating. They've got the super wide angle lens on there, and I guess they're going to be adding image stabilization to that, which that one was not image stabilized before.
Yeah.
So things like that. So there's a few updates and everything, but mostly I'm getting it because it will be a new phone without cracks down the screen.
Yeah. I mean, you fully utilize. By the time a new phone comes out, the old one doesn't owe you a dime. You know, so. You know.
Well, it's funny because this iPhone 11, which is, and I've got the Pro Max, so it's the bigger one, the Pro one, the big one, and I've loved it. And I kept it in a case from the very second I got my hands on it. It went into a case, and when I took it out of that case, it was like it had never been touched by human hands or anything. It was in brand new condition, and within 2 seconds of taking it off there for a minute just to like clean the case off, dropped the phone and smashed it. So
I shouldn't laugh, but it figures.
It's ridiculous. And and I'm one of those people that I can't live with that. But actually I have, because I'm waiting for the 13 to come out. But I've lived with it, and it's not bad. You can barely tell when you're looking at it. When it's on, you can barely tell. But if it's off, you can see the spider cracks across the whole thing.
Oh, man.
But they don't really affect the use of it too much, so it's fine for now. Yeah. I'm waiting for that new one, supposedly September. So I got a little ways to go.
Yeah. Well,
probably maybe October. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it's not that far out though. So. But you're impatient, so that's.
I am, and I want the new lenses, man. I want that. I want to see what they do. Right. But also, speaking of lenses and speaking of cameras, coming soon, the new Movo webcam, the HD version of it is already out, and the folks who backed that on Kickstarter should already be receiving that. The one that I got, which is the 4K version with the light and the microphone and all that in one package. Won't be coming till like October, sadly. But originally it was going to come out in August or September, but now it's going to be sometime in October apparently. So I'm kind of saddened about that, but it's exciting to see that they're getting those things out there, because I definitely want to do a nice review on that, because right now I use my smartphone as my webcam, which is great in some ways, but it's also a pain in the neck because then you don't have your use of your cell phone, and if you forget to put it on silent, and somebody calls you in the middle of the video, and
right.
So there's issues with that. Even though the picture looks a lot better, there are some of those issues. So I'll be excited to see how that works.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, keep us posted, as I know you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of Movo, Steve.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Do they
What?
help bring video marketing madness to the masses?
Well, they do. Our good friends at Movo help make this show possible. We are broadcasting in our studios here, which are powered by Movo.
And
that's much more exciting when we have the live video, and you can see that in the background. But
yeah.
I'll say it out loud. We are powered by Movo, and you can be powered by Movo as well. Get some nice studio microphones, some lavalier microphones. You can get on-camera microphones. You can get lights. You can get stands for your smartphone to stick it on a tripod. You can get mini tripods and everything in between. Lots and lots of great stuff. Wireless microphones. And, if this was video, you'd see behind me a couple boxes worth of wireless microphones that we have from Movo. And we love their products. So if you want to love their products and you want to shoot better video, well, head on over to raiselinks.com/Movo, and you'll be able to pick up your new microphones, lights, stands, etc. They even got mixing boards. They got high-end audio equipment in there as well that I don't talk too much about because I don't understand what half of it is, but they've got that stuff in there as well. So if you're into audio, there's some good things in there. The USB microphone, the UM700, it's kind of like a certain Sasquatchy microphone that you may know about.
Oh, yeah.
And it works very, very well for a great price. You may want to check that out. In fact, I think they have a new version of it. I believe they have the 800 out now, so you can check that out. It's one of those nice USB desktop microphones that has the different pickup patterns that you can switch from. It's got the mute button and everything else. So check that out. Again, raiselinks.com/Movo. And Steve, with that, are we ready to get out of here?
Yeah, hit that funky music, Ray.
All right, here it comes. Click.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where